Hey folks, and welcome back to Glenn and Adrian's Rock Talk. That's Adrian.
And that's Glenn.
And today we're going to return to the Minutemen, a band that we have covered a few times in the past, 2 or 3 times, I guess. And I mean, they even had videos from back in the day. This is a punk, so to speak, band, put an asterisk by their name, really. They were kind of a thinking man's punk band that sometimes the punk fans didn't like them and would throw things at them on stage. But their stuff has endured so well. Their most acclaimed album is probably Double Nickels on the Dime, which is a 2-record set which came out in 1984, virtually the same time as Husker Du's Zen Arcade, which is another classic double record, both from SST Records, which was kind of the big punk label back in the early 80s. Black Flag started that one so they could put out their own material, but all of a sudden their second release was a Minutemen release. This was produced by Ethan James, who's also known as Ralph Burns Kellogg from Blue Cheer. So that's kind of an interesting little bit there. Yeah. But we're going to watch a live version of History Lesson Part 2, which is the story of D. Boon and Mike Watt. D. Boon being the guitar player, unfortunately passed away in 1985. And then Mike Watt is the bass player who is still active. He's played with tons and tons of people in the music business. He's highly respected by everybody. He's kind of a living legend these days and still plays with people all the time. But this is their song. This is an actual live gig from 1985. So looking forward to checking it out. Adrian, any thoughts ahead before we look at this?
Just looking forward to seeing another Minuteman song. A while back, I think it was an EP called Project Mersh.
We watched one of those. We watched the video for King of the Hill.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Let's go ahead and check this out, and we'll discuss afterwards.
All right.
Our band could be your life. Real names be the truth. Me and Mike Watt, we played for years. And punk rock changed our lives. We're punk rock up in Hollywood. Go all the way up from San Pedro. We're a fucking corn dog. We go drinking pogo. The narrator. This is Bob Dylan to me. Like me his songs. Me as his soldier child. Our band is scientist rock. First I was E. Bloom, Richard Hell, Joe Strummer, good old John Doe. Mike Watt just playing your guitar. That's what it's all about.
Here are the words. Our band could be your life. Real names be proof. Me and Mike Watt played for years. Punk rock changed our lives. We learned punk rock in Hollywood. Drove up from San Pedro. We were fucking corn dogs. We'd go drinking pogo. Mr. Narrator, this is Bob Dylan to me. My story could be his songs. I'm his soldier child. Our band is scientist rock, but I was E. Bloom and Richard Hell, Joe Strummer, and John Doe. Me and Mike Watt playing guitar. And this is Mike Watt's song, too, by the way. They both wrote, D. Boon and Mike Watt.
Yeah, it's like that line, punk rock changed our lives. I think
Yeah.
that's true for a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah. This is a highly quotable band. They had really intelligent lyrics. You'll hear in other songs that the bass and the drummer is George Hurley, by the way. They are quite funky. George Hurley was way overqualified for a punk rock drummer. He was really incredible. They were a great rhythm section together. And every song is pretty short for the most part, at this point anyway. By the end, they were writing longer songs. But then that was it for D. Boon soon after that, unfortunately. The very next year after this album came out. I often wonder what would have happened if D. Boon had lived and the band had gone on, for another 10, 20 years. What they would have come up with. I think it would have been really interesting. I think they might have been a formidable force, an influential force in music. They already are. But I have a feeling they would have had an even greater influence and that they would have done some incredible things.
I thought the sound was interesting. It kind of sounded almost like, might I say, minimalist or something like that, with just the guitar and the bass and the drums, and they're doing a lot with it.
Yeah.
But, it's all very simple. I mean, the guitar is this clean guitar, and it sounds like it's being finger-picked, but...
That's right. The general sound that they have most of the time is a little bit louder, but it's still minimalist. They don't overdub. They never overdub anything. So it's just those three guys and their instruments and whatever vocals they put down. I mean, they recorded this entire 2-record set with 46 songs on it or something. I think for a grand total of $1,500. They were fast. They'd go in there, put it down. Okay, next. Okay, next. Okay, next. They're also hilarious most of the time. This is kind of a pensive, mellow track for this band, and yet they still kind of got their licks in there. Kind of put you in the feels a little bit, hearing their story, especially knowing what happened to the band, After D. Boon passed away, they did continue as Firehose. A guy named Ed from Ohio literally came across the country just to meet Mike Watt and talk him into starting another band in the wake of the end of the Minutemen, when D. Boon passed. And at first, Mike's like, no, come on, but eventually he caved. He's like, all right, let's give it some thought, and they eventually did start making records, and they're pretty good, but they are a different band at that point. At least Mike Watt and George Hurley kept going for a few more years. But yeah, Minutemen, if you're not familiar, they are well worth checking out. By the way, I have a copy. Did I mention this already? Did I show this, Adrian?
I don't think you did.
Okay. I have a copy of Double Nickels on the Dime. All the lyrics are in that little section right there for all the songs. But really, they're just a lot of fun. They are worth checking out. My favorite album is probably that one, but I also like What Makes a Man Start Fires, which has a great opener, and Bob Dylan wrote propaganda songs. They're funny, and they make you think, and they've got energy, and it's just a great thing. They're so worth listening to.
I have to agree with you. I just like their general sound. It's just very simple, to the point, and it works. It works well, man.
It really does. It really does. All right, folks, why don't you let us know what you thought of this, and if you were familiar with the Minutemen, if you knew their story, any of that. Did you actually see them? That's something I really wish I'd had a chance to do. I got out, the year after Dean Boone died, and that's when I really started seeing punk bills. And I so regret not having seen this band. It would have been great. But if you ever saw them, let us know about it, or Firehose for that matter. Anything else you want to share, by all means, leave it below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you enjoyed the presentation, please subscribe. All right, thanks so much for joining us today. We will catch you on the next one. Take care, folks.
See you all later.